think we can probably kick off. As usual, we'll cover events at the end for any folks who are interested in that. And also, as usual, we have our two presenters, one from Microsoft and one from the community. So my presenter for the day is Ritu, who's coming from Microsoft, from our engineering team, to cover stuff around finance. So going to cover some stuff about accounts receivable, customer prepayments, and customer invoice logging framework. So excited for her to come in and educate us all. So you should have access as a presenter. Feel free to take over and present whenever you're ready. And also introduce yourself. Tell everyone how long you've been at Microsoft, a bit about your role. That'd be great.
All right. Yeah. Thank you, Lydia. Hello, everyone. My name is Ritu Chopra. I'm a Senior Product Manager for Account Receivable in Dynamics 365. I've been here in Microsoft for almost a year now. I'm excited to be here. Thank you all for joining. And I'm super excited to share about the updates on the customer prepayments and invoice logging framework feature. So looking forward. All right. I think I take a control. I'll start sharing.
Yes, please. Yeah, that'd be great. Today is a real finance day, talking about accounts receivable, and then
Yes,
that's going to be talking about cash as
happy.
well.
I'm very happy to be the replacement.
Good.
Today.
Is that your focus?
It's my talk. It's my thing. Finance is my thing.
Oh, perfect. That's what this is like. Come and co-present. Get whatever topics you really want. Maybe that would be our negotiation tactic. Anytime Anna can't present, who wants to present? But what do you want in return? I think it's loading, Ritu. Yeah, I can't see this. I can see that you're showing, but I can't see anything. Natalia, can you see?
No, it's white.
Yeah.
Okay, let me do it again.
There we go. Perfect. But it's showing in presenter mode to us as well. So I think you need to click on display settings and change it to that one. Yeah. I think try that and see what happens. Yeah, there we go.
Is it going well?
Yeah, now we can. Yeah, there we go. Perfect.
All right. So today I'll be covering two key features. First is prepayment support for the sales order, which went GA for in 10.044. And then the second one I'll be covering is invoice logging framework for the document processing. Now, basically, this feature is all about introducing the error tracking and the traceability feature and overall improving your compliance and traceability, right? So let me start with customer prepayment. Right now, prepayment feature for the account receivable is now general available starting in Dynamics 365 version 10.044. And this release marks a significant milestone in our journey to streamline the order to cash process and enhance the financial control and compliance across the global market. Just a brief background about how this idea started, right? So this idea got almost 300 plus votes in the idea portal and was one of the most requested feature in our account receivable, right? So what's new in this, right? So this new capability enables organization to create and manage prepayment invoices with account receivable. It also helped in supporting the application of the prepayments to the sales order, the cancellation and avoiding invoicing, which means that if there are any last minute cancellation or there are no payments received, there's an option for the user to cancel it. And the last one is that you can reference back your prepayment into your original invoice, which gives a lot much durability and accessibility for the user about the prepayment invoice, right? And if I look from the benefit perspective, I see that it has a huge improvement on the compliance. The users are able to do the better cash forecasting. Overall, it has reduced the manual effort and overall compliance, right? Let me go through the next slide and tell you about how in Dynamics 365, how this feature can be enabled, right? So is my screen up? Just being ensuring it's clear,
We can
right?
see the screen. Yeah, we can't hear any audio, but I feel like you're going to talk over it anyway, are you?
Yes, yes, yes.
Great.
So regarding the prepayment invoice setup feature, right? So the first and foremost thing is to enable this feature under the feature management, right? So if you look here, we have a preview prepayment customer invoice feature. The user needs to come here and then enable the feature. So that's the first prerequisite of this feature. Um, going Going next is defining the default ledger account setting for your customer prepayment. So if the user go for the under the inventory, there is an option for the posting. Now this is basically a place where the user can set up the customer prepayment main account. So this is the second step. So if you see on the screen, we are adding up a main account for our prepayment, which is my customer prepayment. And the third step is under the accounts receivable parameters. We have an option in the account receivable parameters. Under parameters, we have this prepayment, right? So the user needs to enable this to make sure that your sales order are in a confirmation state once the user clicks that, right? So this becomes like mandatory step. And under the ledger and sales tax, you need to set up your prepayment invoice, which is notification and automatic, right? So automatic is basically your prepayment gets automatically posted, and notification is just a manual way of posting it. And the last one is the setup of the number sequences, right? So there are 4 setups which are required for your prepayment to uh, work in a way which you require it to, right? Now coming to the exact demo, that how the prepayment feature actually work in the system, right? So in my screen, if you see here, I go to my sales order screen, and then whenever I'm creating a new sales order, right, and I confirm that sales order, and if I go to my invoice, I can see this option on the top which is called prepayment proposal, right? Now, this is something which is introduced as a part of this feature. Now, once the user confirms the sale order, they start creating the prepayment proposal. That how much prepayment needs to be added? Is it a type fixed or a percentage? And then what is the amount and what is your sales category in that way? And once the proposal gets created, your next steps get enabled, which is called prepayment invoice. Right? Now, prepayment invoice auto populate whatever information you have added in the proposal. Along with that, you can also add the extra information like sales tax group, invoice, sales tax group, etc. Right? So this is a place where you start creating your prepayment invoice. The next step is the settlement part. Now you go to your payment customer payment journal, and then under that you create a settlement against for your prepayment. And if you see here in my screen, I'm just adding the amount for that prepayment invoice, which was $1,000, and the 1,000, and then I'm just settling it back. So if I go back to my original sales order now, right? I have now an option, the next option which gets available for the user, which is apply prepayment. Now the user can apply this prepayment to the sales order invoice. So if I go to the next step, which is an invoice, I go to my generate invoice and invoice the sales order. I can see that this particular prepayment amount is already applied, and then I just post it. So So quickly going to my customer prepayment final sales order, right? If you see my initial transaction amount was 19,000, but I have applied my prepayment of 1,000, and my amount on the sales order is showing up as 18,000, right? So this is the place where you see your prepayments is already applied. Sorry. And my final status of that prepayment becomes settled at the end. If I go to my prepayment and check my status and the prepayment, you see there the status becomes settled, right? And if I finally look at my vouchers, I can see there are 1,000 rupees prepayment, which is 1,000 USD, which is my invoice proposal, which is being added, right? So these are the capabilities of the prepayment, that you are able to settle your invoices with the advance payments, and then you can either cancel it, you can add percentage of your just certain payments and make your sales order applicable basis on that amount, right? Now what's next? What we are looking here from the prepayment processes, right? So we are continue to evolve the prepayment functionality further upon enhancement, and these are the three areas which we are closely looking. Is one, extending the prepayment for the FTI, which is a free text invoice. Secondly, on the multiple prepayment invoice against the single sales order. And the third one is single sales order hold functionality for the prepayments. So these are some of the things which we are looking at this stage. Uh, I would like the group to look into this. I have incorporated a feedback section here. If you guys can take a screenshot or click on this particular link, there will be certain questions which is related to prepayment. I would like to get some inputs on from the group, if from for the future functionality, and if you guys are using, and what is the best way to improve this functionality. So I'll take a pause here. If you guys can take a moment, take a screenshot, and then do it as per your convenience. Okay, Lydia, shall I stop here, or will continue or later?
No, please feel free to continue. Yeah, I know we say 15 minutes, but everyone usually presents for up to half an hour, so knock yourself out.
Okay, amazing. And then the next feature is our logging framework feature for the document processing. Now, this provides structured logs for the life cycle of the sales order invoice and the free text invoice within the customer invoice workspace. Uh, Now, just to break it little further, right? Now we have a customer invoice workspace where we see the number of invoices already posted and how many got errored. But there are no ways we can just link back to particular error and understand what is the issue that happened while posting that error, what is the failure error, right? So with this feature, we are trying to improve the traceability and track the invoice status changes, right? To start with, this feature is available as a preview feature in feature management, starting with the version of 10.045. Now let me go through the key benefits of it, right? As I mentioned, that you can improve your monitoring, right? View posted versus your fails invoices gives an entire set of new flexibility to drill into the details of your quick troubleshooting, right? So your traceability improves. You have a quick accessibility of your errors, and then that will give you a real-time visibility about the overall document state. And eventually, you'll be able to troubleshoot the problems better, right? The next one we see is the error transparency, which was initially lacking behind. When we started with this functionality, we heard so many complaints from the users saying that they're not able to understand that at what stage the batch got failed. What are the errors which came in while they were running the batch invoicing or the free text invoice, right? So it gives a clear indication on the assess of a detailed error of your failed posting directly on your workspace, which is super great. And the last one is on the compliance, right? You have the right set of information at your place, and then you can take decision immediately, right? So it improves a lot of areas at a one shot. Now let's look into how this particular functionality work in actual, right? If you look on my screen, I have my feature management ready. And in the feature management, I have this particular feature which is called Customer Invoice Logging Framework for sales order and FTI history tracking, right? So this is a feature which needs to be enabled at a beginning. So once the feature gets enabled, right? So the user needs to come to the customer invoice workspace. Now this is not new, right? This already exists in the system. We have enhanced this workspace. How? So if you look at the sales order posting history, right? So we have this two columns called posted and errors, right? And same applies to your free text invoice posting history. Again, two columns are there. Now, initially, these were not clickable, right? Now, so you can click now how many invoices got posted, right, on this particular date. Date wise, you can put a filter, and then you can look at your particular sales order, and is it like batch executed, or is it like manually done, or one by one, right? So is it like summary? How many lines were there? So all that details came for your posting scenarios. Now, if you look at this column, which is called error, right, you can actually click on this particular error. And again, it has multiple columns, which is sales order length and execution date time. Is it executed by batch? Now, on the top, we have error details, which makes it more interesting, right? Now, if I click on this error details, you'll see it shows you a right side pane which shows up that what was the error which happened during this batch run, right? You can easily read through that. One cannot pick because of the zero available from the inventory. So there is no way I should go to the system and then recheck my particular sales order, right? It is right there for me to absorb that what happened, and then I can take immediate action, right? So this is the beauty of this functionality, is that the user have the accessibility of the errors, and they can track their errors immediately. So now these are something which we have added additionally for our sales order history tab and the free text posting history tab, right? Now the user don't need to go back. Similarly, they can also click bases on each date, and then all the invoices for that particular dates can be listed and seen through the entire workspace. uh, if the errors are more, it will list out all the errors. If you see on my right pane, everything is listed. Now it will list against each sales order, right? So in if I look back and I show you that, uh, if I show you in the errors, right? Initially there were only one errors, whereas now there are 500 errors which were executed for this, right? Now, if I have to dig into a specific sales order, I can look into each of the invoice and what is the error specific to that particular day and particular sales order, right? So that will give you the direct mapping to for these errors. So this will make a very easy task for the user to take an action for that particular day, and I mean do the immediate remediation, right? So now going to my next screen, which is I think on the functionality here, right? How we are trying to evolve this. We see that these errors can be clubbed multiple into many sections where the user either can take actions uh, combiningly with the error logs, or take some uh, or the system provides certain recommendation basis on looking at the history, right? So these are some of the areas which we are exploring at this stage for this logging framework. And that's it. I think from the feedback perspective, I have a couple of questions for you guys to help me uh, to capture. So this is a QR code. If you guys can take a screenshot of this and help me to answer a few questions related to this particular feature, it will be really super helpful for us to improvise on this feature and understand your direct feedback. So that's it from my side. Lydia, over to
Thank
you.
Thank you. That was awesome. We're getting lots of praise in the chat and some questions as well. Does the new feature have an impact on performance? Meaning if clients are generating a large number of invoices in a short time, will this have an impact on generating those
No.
invoices?
No, thank you. Thank you for raising this question. I think we had this in mind when we were designing this feature, and performance is up to we are not impacting anything on the performance. In fact, we are trying to improve on what we have. So no effect on the performance. To answer you, you'll see better results with or without feature. So
Awesome. And then another
It's
question.
Oh, you motherfucker.
I don't know who that was, but someone's come off
I don't
mute.
know. It's an amazing functionality. I have a customer that leaves the bad shop for posting invoices at night, and then at the other day I have to look if there was any error or what happened there because the user from sales don't have the permissions or the roles to see it. So I'm going to do it as soon as I can.
Oh,
as soon as
good.
it's
That's so
available.
good. Good. I'm glad. We had one other question. I couldn't see if the list of transactions has a flag to say if a particular transaction is in error or not.
So if you look at the errors, right, you click on the errors and then it will take to the exact sales order, and the error is mapped against the sales order. So it's not that complex. You just need to click on the workspace errors, and then it will map back directly to your either free text invoice or the sales order.
It's
And
just I thought, Ruti, sorry, I thought it looked like a list of transactions that could be in error or not, or were those all in error? Those that list you were showing.
so yeah, it was all error. So we had a column
Okay.
called posted error. So error one will give you the list.
Cool. Thanks.
Cool. Well, I think you've made Natalia's day, so that's excellent. And yeah, awesome. Just really awesome to get into the detail of what's coming. So I appreciate your time.
Yes, and those functionalities were very asked for my customers, so I'm very
Yeah.
happy. Thanks for taking care of it.
Amazing.
Shall we hand over to Bilor? Do you want to do an intro, Natalia?
Yes, Vilur is a friend of mine in the community, but she's very kind and she's a very friend of a lot of people in the community. She's MVP, MCT, so she has a gift of explaining tough things in finance super easy and fun. So thank you very much, Vilur, for joining today and for your session. I think everybody's going to learn a lot about it.
I hope so. So
Yeah, I'm
this is
sure.
one of the topics that I really like and really like to implement in the company. So I would like to share my opinions on that and what's new, if I can show you the best that I can, because that time to time I have the feeling that this cash flow functionality is not very much implemented in the projects, rather than lots of reports are being created from the Power BI. Okay, this is our brother, but yeah, still I would prefer to use what's in standard in Dynamics. So hello everyone, and thank you for listening to me. I am Bilur, as Natalia says, that we will meet hopefully together in D365 Summit in Lisbon in 10 years later. So do not hesitate to come if you are going to that summit, and say hi. I will try to summarize in 15 minutes. It will take 17 something to be precise, hopefully. But yeah, here we go, and let's start. Now I'm sharing my screen. Oops, sorry. So when we are talking about the cash flow, what is cash flow is not just showing our cash balances or just showing what we have done in the past. Cash flow is about the future. It lets us see what we have as a cash in the future. But before we go for it, before we have all these reports with us, first we need to make some setups. So to do these setups, you can go to cash and bank management. Of course, it's cash. No surprises. Under the cash flow forecasting, we need to do the cash flow forecast setups. Here you define what you would like to see in your cash flow reports. As I mentioned that this is not the one that shows what we have, but also shows what we'll have in the future as a cash. So first you do the setups for the main accounts. You select your liquidity accounts in here, which will also have the bank accounts in addition. And then you do the setups for the accounts payable. So the things that I'm going to say is also applicable for the accounts receivable as well, as you can see. Here you give the purchasing forecast defaults. So if you would like to add the accounts payable into your cash flow, this is the place where you do the setups. Here, be careful that it's not just taking the open transactions according to the due dates, but also you will see the details from the purchase orders as well. So it's very critical what you do here setup. Here you do the setups between the time, delivery date, and the invoice date. So while we are talking about the purchase orders, and in the accounts receivable, of course, the sales orders, you have to give the system the date between the delivery and the invoice. So this will be a rough information that you can fill out. And then you define the terms of payment and the time between the invoice due date and the payment date. So sometimes you can pay a bit late, like 1 day, 2 days, or earlier. It depends on your averages. Here that you can set up this information. Also, if you would like to separate it by vendor groups or time to time change your liquidity accounts per vendor posting profiles, here it's the correct place to make this definition. As I said, everything that I have told is also applicable for the accounts receivable part. So how system will react is that take the open transactions, of course, according to their due dates, but looking at the time between the invoice due date and the real payment dates, plus the open transactions, thinking open orders, thinking that they will be invoiced one day and they will be paid according to the terms of payment. You can have your cash flow from your budgets as well. So here, as you can see, you can select more than one budget model. So you can have your budget data into your cash flow that you have made yearly. Also, plus, what I advise to do is that create your own cash flow budgets according to your needs and then select here to affect your cash flows. For example, if you are thinking to make an investment in the future, next day, which is not in your budget, but you would like to see the effects in your cash flow, you can create a budget model, add your investment values, and see it in your cash flow reporting, which is separate than your original budget. Or if you are planning to have a loan next year, next month, next week, you can have it in your budget, create a budget, upload your details, and then see the effects in your cash flow. Also, if you are planning to have a payment which is not yet been in your real F&O data, you can use the budgets as well for those purposes. So here you will be able to do a kind of a scenario on your cash flows. For the budgeting part, you may not have a budget or you may have an inventory budget. Then in this case, you will be able to here select your inventory budgets as well. For example, if you are planning to make some sales or some purchases that has been budgeted, you will be able to select here and see them in your cash flow reports. We have talked about the general ledger, accounts payable, and the budgets. And of course, you can have the project management information in your cash flow. Here, you can include the project types. If you do not select, you do not need to select all the types that if you would not like to see it in your cash flow, you can just reduce it from here. So you can include the project types like time and material, fixed price, investment, or internal and cost, with the transaction types of hour, expenses, item, fee, and an account. Also, if you have a project forecast model, you will be able to select your project forecast model in this parameter. Once you have defined what you would like to see in your cash flow and make this decision, do this easy setup. As you can see, it's very easy. And then you can start reporting. Before you do the reporting, how cash flow works is that it collects the data into the cash flow tables and lets you to do the reporting. For that purpose, you can come here under the reporting and set up the cash flow forecast automation. You can do it from here when you do the first setups, or you can directly do and manage under the cash flow forecast automation form. As you can see in this form, you will be able to see all the automations that has been set up for every company. What is good about the cash flow is that no matter in which company you are, you will be able to report for that company and for all the companies that you have. To set up an automation, it's actually a basic batch setup, we can say. Come here, say create new process automation. Select the schedule type. Select the company. As you can see, I can select a different company as well. But now I'm selecting USMF and go with create series. You write down a name, USMF cash flow, we can say. It doesn't matter. It's just for you to understand what it is. You can write down the description. You fill out the schedule time. You enter a start date. You can enter an end date if you would like to be finished at a certain amount of time, or you can leave it blank so that it will run forever, depending on the repetition time. So your occurrence pattern is that here you select. It can be run daily, weekly, monthly, or once. If you run it once, it runs and new data will not come anymore. The occurrence pattern is very critical depending on the performance. So you can say daily, weekly, monthly, or according to your reporting requirements. And you can enter the daily repeat interval as we are doing for all the batches. And then we say next. And here you select which method that you would like to use in the cash flow. It could be total or new. There is a difference between total and new. Total means that it will recreate the cash flow data. So it will take everything from the start. For performances, you can select new. In this case, after running once for a total, only the new transactions will be taking the effects. So this is a critical setup that you need to do. But first, of course, for once, you have to run the total. And when you say finish, now we have created our automation. This means that data will start to flow into our cash flow tables. In the right side, you will be able to see your cash flow forecast automations statuses. If it's completed, you can view the results, completed, scheduled, or if there's an error, you will be able to see them all. After we run it, you will be able to report it under the workspaces. There are two reports that you can use for cash overview. Cash overview for all companies and cash overview for current company. Let's go for the all companies. So there are 3 pages that you can have, 4 pages that you can see for reporting purposes as default. Here, as you can see, balance by company. You can see here inflows, outflows per system currency or forecasted currency balances. In the cash flow forecast, as you can see it in line graph. In the right part, you will be able to see per date, which is divided into inflows, outflows, and the balance. And right in the down, you will be able to see the details. As you can see here in the details, the balances are being created with the transaction types, free text invoice, vendor open transactions, customer open transactions, sales orders, purchase orders, and if we did setup, of course, the budgets. You will see here with the direction, if it's incoming or outgoing, you can see the companies and for the details that you would like to check in. If you would like to export the data, you will easily export data by clicking to export data. So once you click and then export, it will create this Excel that you can reach out and save and use or to investigate. When you click on the graph directly, the data will change and will show you the details on which line that you are that collects the data. With the cash flow forecast, also we have the currency forecast. It's the same as the cash flow forecast, but in this case, as you can see, it's per currency. And then you will be here seeing the bank balances. If you would like to add a different report, maybe you say that, okay, I want to have another report that I would like to use according to the cash flow. Then you can go to options and say edit. Okay. In this case, you can work on the current page that you are working in, or you can create a new page. All right. Then select your visualization from the visualization part. And from the data part, you will be able to select, of course, the data. As you can see, we have easily created this visualization in here. So this is how easy to set up the cash flow and then take the results and report it and create a new report. But there's one thing missing, right? I can hear it. So you are saying that where is AI? I know that everybody is talking about the AI, new functionalities, agents. Yes, we have some AI-ish functionalities in cash flow as well. We call it financial insights. With the setup of the financial insights, system increase the accuracy of cash flow projections. So it helps us to forecast the cash flow with the using of the machine learning models. But of course, when we are trying to use a machine learning models, it's advised to have 3 to 5 years of data. With the less data, of course, it can do the projection, but yeah, it would be better. It's advised to have at least 3 years. Also, with financial insights, what you can do is that you can have the snapshots. As you can see, when we run the cash flow in standard functionality, it will show what we have now, what we have forecasted, but there is no snapshots. So each time, all you can see is just one data. But if you would like to create different snapshots, including optimistic, pessimistic kind of setups, you will be able to do it and report it through the financial insights. It has its own workspaces for the reporting, but of course, the financial insights come with its prerequisites. So you have to have a tier 2 environment, and also uses the AI Builder credits to create financial predictions. And you need to use the Finance Insights add-in. You need to do the Dataverse setup. And of course, after you do it, you have to enable cash flow forecasting. So to use the financial insights for the cash flow, you need to also do these setups as we have done in the cash flow forecasting. As additionally, when the financial insights are activated by using the data entities, data can be imported from external sources as well. So we have these entities, you know, that we use the entities to import data to the system. We can use these cash flow forecast entities to import data time to time. So, for example, if you have different companies that are not being defined or using directly the Dynamics FNO because they are small or has not yet been going live or in the process, you can use this data imported from the external sources to report and import the data into the system. And also in the futures, if you set up the cash flow sales tax authority payments, the tax authority payments are also included directly into your cash flows. As you can see, it's very easy to report and see the data in the system when we come to cash flow. If you have any questions, you can write it down to the chat and I will be pleased to answer. I hope I didn't talk too much.
You talked the perfect amount for someone talking about a topic on a community call. Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
That was awesome. There's a couple of comments in the chat about BPA actually and how that incorporates to the other financial systems.
Actually, there isn't. Yeah, I've searched a bit before because I didn't see in the BPA, and I also checked with the BPP. There are some functionalities that has been mentioned with the BPP, business performance planning, but I didn't see it with my eyes and I couldn't find the Microsoft documentation over it. So I didn't want to tell about this one, but unfortunately it's not in BPA for now.
Thank you. That was awesome. ERP is so vast. We are never going to run out of topics, are we? It's
exactly.
wild.
This is why I've been here for 21 years.
Yeah. Have you on Dynamics the whole time or on lots of different
yes,
things?
On Dynamics. I've started with Dynamics. I stick on Dynamics.
Yeah. I mean, I've been in Dynamics now for a decade and it's gone like that. So it's wild. Natalia, how happy are you on a scale of 1 to 10 to have had 2 finance related topics?
I love it. This is my first time that there is so many financial in this world. Yeah. We are always a few, smallest group in everywhere. So I'm very happy.
Good. I'm glad. It's funny. I feel like what often happens is I'm finding the Microsoft speaker and Anna's finding our community speaker. And what's funny is how it's aligning that the topic is often the same. It's just by complete coincidence.
You are connected.
Yeah, we're connected in our spirits, that's for sure.
And always a new thing comes. For example, in 3.0 version, even there's a cash flow, but now we have financial insights. And I know that in the future, we will have it in BPA and maybe in BPP, for example, in the budget. We have this BPP functionality that is working awesome. Good. Honestly speaking. Yeah, it's like, we can discuss the licensing part, but yeah, it's awesome to have these reports in this current version. As I showed you in the cash flow, you can even make your own reports by using the data in the system with the users very easily.
Good. I'm glad you're happy. What is Andre putting? That is such an amazing GIF. We really take advantage of the GIFs on Teams on this call. Let's talk a little bit about events. Let me just get the slides up. Lots of interesting events coming up. Obviously, Ignite is coming up next week, which is our flagship Microsoft conference of the year, which I'm sure, Lasse, one more sassy comment about me not being good at going through the events, and you will be leading this section of the call. I'd like you to prepare yourself for that. Ignite is the flagship conference where we talk about all of the updates that are coming. I imagine you all know this, but it is paid in San Francisco, but then a lot of the content is put live online. Either you can watch the sessions live or you can watch them playback afterwards on demand. So if you haven't registered for that, please check it out. And Convergence, our ERP conference, is starting for the first time as one heavily sponsored by Microsoft in Miami in December. So that's going to be very exciting. Natalia, do you want to talk a little bit about some of the community-led events that are coming up?
Yes, the update conference is going to be in Sequia. I think the call for a speaker is still open. It's on 13 and 14 of November, so take a look at this. The Ignite 2025, I think it's the same that the Ignite that we have spoken before. The D365 Summit, this is the event that we all were saying that we are going here in Europe. We are Bilur, Lasse, Andre, David. We are going with a group of friends. So if anybody wants to show, more than welcome. The Dynamics UC Autumn Conference in Oslo, Norway. The agenda is amazing. I took a look at this. I have never been, but think that it's going to be very amazing. Shift Plus Enter Summit. It's in Budapest, and also 26th of November. A lot of events in November.
Lots of events, and that Ignite one is it's a community-led summit event in New York relating to Ignite. So yeah, for any folks who are nearby, that'll be an interesting one. Okay, I think that's it. Thank you very much.
I would like to add one more event, which is in this weekend, which is online, which is created by a user group of Middle East. So on the 15th, I will be a speaker, of course.
Oh, perfect.
So yeah, you can join to Dynamics 365 user group Middle East Global Dynamics Boot Camp if you would like to.
Could you put a link for that into the chat, please?
Yes, of course.
Thank you. In December, our most chatty member of the group chat is actually going to be presenting. I don't know what he's going to do, what's going to happen in the chat while he's speaking if he's not the one sending messages. Lasse will be talking about AI in Dynamics 365 ERP, and he will also then be working through the events that are coming up, because I think it would be good for him to tag team taking that responsibility. So Lasse, look for some invitation in your calendar to organize that together. And then we'll also have awesome, Christian Wright from Microsoft, who leads a lot of our SCM efforts. So that will be awesome. So some great sessions for our last session of the year, which is absolutely wild. I think with that, let's give everybody some time back, which never happens on these calls. And I hope you have a great rest of your November, and we will see you in December. And thanks, Bila, for the link to the bootcamp as well. Awesome, everybody. Have a great day. Speak to you soon. Bye.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
We are grateful for you.